I knew it. No bueno. I hit the tree. I hit the tree. The tree. I hit the tree. The tree. The tree. The tree. I hit the tree. The tree. Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Potensic Atom, this little mini drone, and I've had it for a few months, and I think now I can finally give you guys the full review and all my thoughts and opinions on what this drone can and can't do. So make sure you stick around so you can learn all about it. Before we jump into the details of this drone, there's a couple things I want to cover real quick. First thing is, I'm not a professional or advanced drone user, so if I say the wrong thing or I miss something, I'm sorry in advance. I'm still kind of in the beginner stages. I've been learning a lot. Hopefully you can learn something in this video too. The second thing is a little disclaimer. Just make sure you check all your local laws and regulations when it comes to drone flying. You definitely want to make sure you're not getting into trouble flying drones in certain areas. The third thing is going to be, there's a lot of political stuff going on right now with some of these drone companies. I'm not going to talk about that or cover it, but definitely do your research before you make any purchases of buying a drone, because it could affect you. So this Potensic Atom is fairly new, I believe. I've been seeing it all over my YouTube feed and on Amazon. I think they just started releasing these drones. It's a newer company. They do have another smaller version called the Atom SE. But anyway, I did buy this on Amazon for about $350. I got the Fly More combo kit. So with this Fly More combo kit, you're going to get a carrying case that has a shoulder strap, the flight controller, 3 batteries with the charger so you can charge all of them at the same time, the AC wall plug, which has detachable plugs so you can change it to the other international standards. It comes with a bunch of USB cables so you can connect different types of smartphones to the controller, extra propellers, and even a 64 gigabyte UHS-1 micro SD card. I didn't have any issues with the kit, and it comes with everything you need. So on this Potensic Atom, it is a sub 249 grams, which is going to be very important because if it does go over a certain weight, you do have to get a drone license. So you shouldn't need a drone license to fly, but you know, every place is different, so just double check. Very lightweight, very small. You can fit this almost in your pocket, any backpack. It has a max transmission of 6 kilometers, and they say you can get about 32 minutes of flight time on one charge. And it also has GPS. It also has visual tracking, and what they call QuickShots is going to be some of their intelligent features where you can do like a boomerang style shot or a pull away cinematic shot. I think I covered all the major bullet points on the Potensic Atom, so let's get it set up so you can see what that looks like and start flying this thing. One quick thing, if you are enjoying this video, smash that like button, consider subscribing. It does help out my channel and the algorithm in making more future content for you guys. All right, on this little mini helipad, I have everything laid out of what you're gonna need to get started to start flying the drone. I'm gonna put in the SD card. There's a little tiny slit here for that SD card, and this is not the one it comes with. This is a larger one that I had laying around, like so, and then you just kind of click it in there, and then here is the battery. It does have a charging port, a USB-C, so you can plug this with a USB-C cord if you forget the charger somewhere. And then all you have to do is slide this in here like so. Make sure it clicks in, make sure it doesn't come out, you know, it's not loose. You release it, you go like that to take it out. And all of these arms are foldable, as you can see. So I'm going to flip out that one first. I'm going to do the bottom one, same thing on the other side, flip that out. Flip that out, and here is the flight controller. Kind of looks like a, you know, console controller more or less. You shouldn't have any issues fitting any smartphone that you have. And the actual little joysticks, it kind of has a little spot for them so you can take them on and off, so it makes it a little bit more compact so the little joysticks aren't sticking out, taking up room. So you just got to screw that in there like that. And on the antennas, you just lift it up like this to pull it out. You can only turn it into each other, and these don't seem like you can detach them, you know, they don't come out. So I would probably be very careful here. If you were to drop this would snap off pretty easily, I think. And down here is a USB-C port. This is where you're going to plug into your smartphone, and you can also charge your phone with the battery built in here. You're going to have your power button down here, and on this opposite side is going to be your return to home button. On this kind of right side, you have a picture snapshot that you can press that to take pictures when you're flying around. And then here is going to be a record button, and then this is going to be your control for your gimbal. All right, so now I'm going to take the phone and I'm going to connect the USB-C cable, and then I'm going to put it into the flight controller. I'm just going to slide it back like so, and I'm going to plug in the other side right into the flight controller. And to turn on the flight controller, all you have to do is hold that button down. You see all the lights, you hear beep, and you see all the LED lights. That also is your battery indicator, so you can see how much battery you have left. So I already have the app all set up and installed, but you will need the app to get started, of course. And it's really quick and simple to get this drone connected and set up. I didn't have any issues so far, which I'm really thrilled about, because I've had drones that are like nightmares to get set up. And there's a little connection guide here that will walk you through it. I'm gonna go ahead and power on the drone. All you need to do is press it once, and then you see it light up, and then hold and press. and then you hear it do its little signal and it'll start flashing. I am going to take off the cover here for the gimbal. I'll show you that here right now. So I know it's a 12 megapixel, and I believe I want to say a Sony CMOS. Now that it's powered on, you can see that we are able to actually get into the drone and start the app. We have an actual screen here that we can see the camera. On the right side, going to be some of your main functions. You can set it between like auto or manual mode, so you can actually adjust the ISO, you know, your white balance, and then your shutter speed. And then on the top, you can see where it says 4K 30 frames per second. So if I press on that, it does give you the other options to switch to the different resolutions. You can switch between photos and video mode. Obviously here you can press that button to record. If you don't want to use the one on the controller, it's going to be your zooming in. You can do 1x or 2x on 4K. Here's going to be those quick shots that we were talking about before. So we can't really show you that until we get in the air. And this button is going to be your gallery, where you can see all of the videos and pictures that you took. One thing that I did find that I wasn't too thrilled about, let's say you want to transfer one of the videos you recorded right to your phone and save it and download it or whatever, it will automatically downgrade the resolution to 720p. I don't know if that's for, you know, saving time or space, not really sure, but if you try to transfer this directly to your smartphone, you will not get the full resolution. It downgrades it. So just want to make that very clear. And up here at the top, we have, you know, battery level, the signal, GPS, and all that stuff. On the bottom left here, this will tell you how far and how high you are with the drone and miles per hour. And down here, you can see a map of the area of where you are with the drone. And these three little dots, this will bring us into the menu. In the safety features, you can actually put beginner mode. So that way it limits, you know, how far you can get with the drone away from yourself. You can change, you know, type of units, either feet or metric. You can change the actual speed of how fast the drone is going to fly. Obviously, this is going to affect the battery, and you can set what happens if it does have a signal loss, what it'll do. You can have it return, you know, land, or just hover. You can set the minimum return altitude and a silent return mode. You can configure a virtual fence, and in calibration, you could do a compass calibration, gimbal, you know, gimbal fine tuning, and then remote control calibration. And in control, you can change the type of control stick mode. So if you want to change the way the joysticks operate, and then the speed of the gimbal mode, you could do an FPV mode as well. And then in camera, some settings here for white balance, you can set up a grid, and then format the SD card. And that's pretty much all the main functions of the app. Let's get it up in the air so you can see everything else. All right, we're ready to take off. All you need to do is press that button there with the arrow pointing up, and it'll say, are you sure you want to take off? You have to swipe to kind of confirm it. And then that's it. You're in the air. You know, I just realized I'm gonna put a fresh battery real quick, because we're down to like 67% already, and I want to see if we can truly get 32 minutes of flying around. All right, I got the new battery in, and I changed my mic out so that way I can walk away from the camera and you can still hear me clearly. I got 99% on the battery, and let's hit that. We're gonna swipe it, and we're off. And also, if I didn't mention before, this is supposed to be rated for level 5 wind resistance, I think up to like 15 miles per hour. Gotta double check that real quick. Hold on. Yeah, so level 5 wind resistant is going to be anywhere between 19 to 24 miles per hour, or 29 to 38 kilometers per hour. It's supposed to be able to handle those type of winds. Not really sure about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and fly around a little bit, and then we'll go into those quick shots. Let's go ahead and also pull down the gimbal here with that right trigger. So you can also see the angle of the gimbal here on the right hand side of the screen. You can see me standing around, and then we'll go ahead and we'll pull up a little higher. We'll go way back. All right, so we're at about 190 feet. I'm gonna go ahead and record some of this footage here, and then let's go ahead and start flying around. I'm gonna pull up the gimbal a little bit to like 20 something so we can see the surrounding areas. Go ahead and do a spin around here. There's a lot of lush green over here, so let's go out this way. So we're about 200 feet away from myself. 13 mile per hour winds, more or less. You can see the bottom left-hand screen. We're gonna do a range test here as well while we're flying out. So we're getting a warning here to make sure the antennas are fully upright and aligned. So keep going here. I'm gonna turn a little bit so you can see. All right, we're at 1,000 feet away from myself right now. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Just got a video transmission is weak. So it's chopping out a little bit. We're only about 1,000 feet. Oh yeah, it's getting real choppy. I got no visual here, guys. Oh shoot, we lost. No bueno. A little over 1,000 feet, and we were getting choppiness on the signal. I'm gonna try to pull it back here. Hopefully, still getting a bunch of warnings. Here, guys, we lost signal as far as the video feed. Okay, it's starting to come back now. All right, it came back about 900 feet. Not good range so far, so I'm gonna come back down to about 70% battery power. Still not the best pilot, but I'm trying. Back in view. Alrighty, barely got a little over 1,000 feet away from, you know, the antenna's flight controller and started getting warnings and signals cutting out. I lost complete video footage. Couldn't really tell where it was at that time. Yeah, not a good sign on the range. Don't know about that max 6 kilometers. All right, so now we're gonna do the quick shots and we're gonna try out the different modes. We'll start off with the first one, gonna be the pull away. So that's cinematic shot where it pulls away from your subject. To start this off, all we need to do is press that button on the bottom right-hand corner, which is the quick shots menu. And there's 5 different modes. It pull away, rocket, circle, spiral, and boomerang. For right here, I selected myself on the screen. We're gonna go ahead and hit go. There's an error here. It says quick shots activation failed. It does give you the angle between -75 and -15. We'll have to do that and go a little bit higher. Tapping myself, and we're gonna go 30 feet high. 3. Just gonna give you a countdown. 1. Go. And then it'll automatically start recording itself. If you're taking any shots of, you know, say you were out in a nice area on a hike or something. So once it gets to the 30 feet range, it'll stop and then it will return itself to where it was originally. And then now we'll switch to the other modes. We'll go to rocket. It says, so I'll click on my screen. Let's see. 3. 2, 1. It's at the same place it was more or less. Going up very slowly right now. Pulling the gimbal down as it's going up. That nice kind of like straight down look as it's going up. Coming back down. Yep, here it comes. By the way, we're about 42% battery right now. Let's do the other mode. So far, all these modes do work. I haven't had any issues. Let's do a circle. All right, so I'm gonna walk back a little bit. Get a little bit farther away from the trees. We don't need any mishaps. I think that's a good enough position. Go back to circle, draw the target, and 1 circle. There we go. So start circling me. Perfect circle. It's getting a little windy now. All right, that one worked. So let's go back to the last 2 here. Spiral. Make sure we're not hitting any trees. Nope, we're good, we're clear. Yep, nice smooth spiral. Getting lower and lower in battery. Boomerang. So the last, oh, target lost. Got a target lost. I mean, I took 1 step and it lost me there. Definitely can't be moving around too much when you start these modes. Yeah, that's no bueno. That one you need a lot more space. I almost went into a tree on that one. So let's pull out a little bit more here, guys. It's hard to tell, man. These trees are, I think we're okay. I think we're okay.
It was at this moment that he knew he f***ed up.
Yep, we're high enough away from the...
Attitude mode.
Nope, we lost it. Ah, I knew it. No bueno. I hit the tree. All right, luckily it's still in one piece. It looks like it's in one piece. I don't see anything broken on it yet. There's some warnings on the screen. We're gonna try to reset it up and see what happens. But boomerang mode, have plenty of space because it can be pretty dangerous. Good news and bad news, guys. Drone works. Somewhat, but now I'm getting gimbal failures. We have no functioning gimbal right now. As you can see here on the screen, very shaky. I mean, the drone flies, but the gimbal is broken. I can't operate the camera whatsoever. It's not fun for a video, but I'm sure you guys might be having a good time laughing at it. But yeah, so I did say I was a beginner. Freaking saw the tree, but I was like, yeah, I'm totally far away. I was like in the middle of the field. I thought I had plenty of room. We might have to wrap up this video and go back home and talk about the rest. Move on. Life goes on, guys. All right, I'm officially back home now, and what a random turn of events. Was not planning that to happen at all. I'm very frustrated at what I just did, but don't worry, my mistake is maybe something you can learn from me. We're gonna keep rolling here. I still have plenty of information to share with you. You're still gonna get all the basics and everything you need to know about this drone. So let's pick up where I left off. We're talking about the battery and seeing if I can get that full 32 minutes of flight time. So going back and checking the clips and the timestamps of the videos, right before I crashed the drone, I was at about 16% battery life left. And that was around 20 minutes of flight time, more or less, before that all happened. I don't really think I would have gotten a full 32 minutes with just that 15% battery life left. So I think 32 minutes is kind of pushing it, but it also really depends on the environment and the conditions. So if there's a lot of wind and obviously you're doing a lot of heavy flying and whipping around everywhere, that's going to consume more battery. Overall, I think you'll get around 25 minutes on a single charge. As far as a flight controller and then flying the drone, everything is real easy, simple to pick up. You don't need a whole lot of experience of flying any drones. I think anybody can pick up this controller and figure it out as they go. It's really a great entry point into flying drones. I never felt overwhelmed or not in control of the drone. Everything is responsive. It flies fast, whips around wherever you want it to go, and it's a fun experience to fly around. Now let's get into the gimbal and camera and what kind of quality you can expect. Now let's talk about the camera shots first. I took a couple of myself just standing around when I first got the drone. I was maybe about 20-30 feet away, and you can see it's not the best quality. I think it's pretty low. It can be blurry, fuzzy around the edges, and I wouldn't expect much from camera shots from this drone. Recording at 4K 30 frames per second, it's pretty decent on the surface level. As long as you have a nice bright sunny day, this camera does not do well in low light. On all the footage I recorded, everything looks crisp, pretty clear. It looks like you have a mid-range phone in the sky. There's no HDR here or anything crazy, so no advanced camera features that you would see in some more expensive drones. As long as you don't plan on zooming in on the footage that you record. Otherwise, if you plan on cropping or zooming in really deep into this footage, you will be let down fairly quickly. Like I said, think of this as a mid-range phone in the sky that you can use from time to time. Just don't expect a huge amount of quality to come out of this camera. Now the gimbal is a 3-axis gimbal, and you can go all the way down to -90 degrees to pull it straight down. And if you're doing it manually on the flight controller, it can be a little bit stiff and a little janky at times, so just be aware of that. I first used this drone as some B-roll in a review video I did of a Kia EV9. I got tons of drone footage in that video using the Potensic Atom, and if you want to watch that video, you can click up here or find the link in the description. So let's quickly go over the pros and cons and what you need to know about if you're going to be thinking about purchasing this drone. So the first pro for me is going to be the price range. It is significantly cheaper. It's not going to be a big hit to your pocket, especially with everything that you get with it. The second thing it's going to be, it's great for beginners. Anyone can pick this up. I didn't have any issues with the app, getting it connected, set up, starting to flying the drone. Everything was really streamlined, and I think they did a great job getting it for beginners to learn how to fly. Last thing is going to be those quick shots, kind of those intelligent features to follow you, do those rocket pull away shots. Those are pretty cool, and I find those to be the most useful, especially if I'm going to be recording some B-roll footage in a video. Now let's talk about some of the things I didn't like about this drone. The first thing for me is going to be the gimbal. Like I talked about before, it can get kind of shaky, and especially if there is some winds, it has a hard time trying to keep up and compensate for all of those movements. It can really ruin some footage, especially if you're trying to get some nice panning and cinematic shots. The second thing is going to be the flight range. It claims it can get up to 6 kilometers, but from all my testing and flying this drone, I could barely go above 1,500 feet away from my location. Once I started getting to that distance, I would start getting warnings about the signal and transmission of the video, and it starts getting choppy, and I have no idea what's going on with the drone. That's really concerning, especially if they're claiming 6 kilometers, because I have not been able to get that far with it. I think the next thing is really going to be the camera quality, especially in the low light. It's not going to perform very well. Don't expect much from it. You really need a bright sunny day to get some decent footage. I know for this price range, you're not going to get professional and high quality results. It's just a little bit lackluster, and I just want to make you aware of that. And the last thing I want to mention here is the level 5 wind resistance. I flew the Potensic Atom at the beach, and the winds on that day were rated for around 10 to 15 miles per hour. However, when I went up with the drone flying for about 2 to 3 minutes, I started getting warnings about it was too strong and it could have got blown over and crashed. I'm not really sure you're going to be able to fly this thing in 19-mile-per-hour winds, so you definitely want to be careful. I think maybe 14 and under, you might be fine. So that's pretty much going to be everything I have for you guys on the Potensic Atom. Don't expect any professional Hollywood studio production with this drone. For beginners, maybe some small YouTube channels, you'll be fine with it. I think it's a great value. If you're interested in the Potensic Atom or the helipad that I showed in this video, you can find the link in the description below. Just remember, this is an affiliated link, and it does help support the channel at no cost to you. Lastly, don't forget to smash that like button and put some comments below. Let me know about some other drones out there that are great for beginners and small content creators. That's gonna be a wrap, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.